If you have a 2014 or newer four-wheel drive Ram 2500 that has stock suspension or up to 1.5 inches of lift in the front, and you want a shock that will give you a high-performance feel without the super steep price point, this Fox Performance Series 2.5 IFP HTO Front Shock is a great option to consider. Now, out of all of the Fox shock options, this is a higher mid-level choice, perfect for the HD Ram owner who needs longevity and consistent performance in their suspension for bigger tires, heavier towing, or off-roading scenarios, but doesn't need the race-level performance option like Fox's Elite Series choices. Now, with that being said, this is great for the hybrid driver that's very tough on their truck and wants a reliable shock replacement to pair with whatever lift or leveling kit that's currently on the front end, or just to replace any worn or squishy factory shocks. I do want to mention that this is a singular shock. What you see on the table is what you get out of the box, so if you do need two to match, which you most likely will, you will need to pick up two of these for the front of your Ram. Now, 2.5 is the measurement of the shock body diameter here. So this one, being larger than most average size 2-inch options, is a higher performing choice considering that there's more oil capacity with this one and a greater area for heat dissipation to create consistent dampening performance by reducing the ability to overheat under tough conditions. This also has high flow velocity sensitive dampening to be able to adapt to whatever terrain that you're encountering with your Ram, adjusting the resistance or the stiffness of the shock's feel with how fast the piston inside is moving. Now, speaking of that, this features an internal floating piston or IFP design that internally separates the shock oil from the high pressure nitrogen inside, which allows for this system to eliminate cavitation in the shock or bubbles that lead to shock fade or that squishy feeling, again helping to keep the performance consistent. Now, these also have HTO or a hydraulic top out piston, which reduces harsh top outs and increases the comfort on all rides by forcing the shock oil through a secondary shim stack to slow down that shock shaft speed. Now, this feature is specifically good for lifted applications with heavier oversized tires, keeping the ride more comfortable even with components that are tough on the system otherwise. Now, diving deeper into the makeup, this is made of an extruded 6061 T6 aluminum material. When it comes to the body, and again, it's 2.5 inches in diameter, a bit larger than the average shock that you'll see on the page. Now, the aluminum isn't just great for anti-rust properties, but also heat dissipation compared to other materials, making for an efficient system. Now, on top, this has a Type 2 clear anodized body plating to resist any sort of corrosion on the aluminum, resist any damage, and maintain a solid appearance over time. The piston shaft is also durable, resisting any damage coming its way, with a 5/8 inch hard chrome construction, eliminating the chance of leaking or bending. The shock also comes with tough bushings to eliminate any vibration or deflection and allow for a longer lifespan than stock, and it also includes everything that you need when it comes to the hardware. As I mentioned, this comes with one shock in the kit, so you will need to pick up two to match, and they come in at about $400 per shock. Now, that is a middle of the spectrum price point, and it matches the features, clearly outperforming entry-level choices with its size, its dampening, and durable build, but it doesn't include some of those high-level qualities that some of the race-style shocks would include. Now, if you don't need a premium race performance option, you want to save a couple bucks, but definitely want a high-quality choice that's going to give you all of the performance that you need for your truck in heavy-duty situations, then this is a great choice in order to achieve that balance. Install here is a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, so it does require a little mechanical know-how, so I would set about 3 hours aside or so to get the job done. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers here. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can install this on your Ram at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get to the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, multiple ratchets, 3/8 inch adapter if necessary, 8, 18, and 21 millimeter sockets, a 6 millimeter Allen socket, 18 and 19 millimeter ratcheting wrenches. Also not shown here is the jack and jack stands. today we're going to be installing a front shock on our Ram, so let's get started. So we've got the truck in the air and we've got the wheels off. And one thing I want to point out is your fender liner kind of does cover where your upper shock mount is. If you're doing this at home and for easy or serviceability of your truck, you can just notch this section out of your fender liner. It's going to make it so much easier. However, for demonstration purposes, we're just going to remove our fender liner to give you a better view of what's going on. Your fender liner is held in by a slew of 8mm screws, so we're going to remove all those, take that out, and we'll have better access to our upper shock mount. So we've got our 8mm socket. I'll just start taking all these out first. And we have a few on the back side here. We'll get those out as well. I'll get these out as well. You should have one here. We don't. You should also have a push clip up front. Once you get all your screws out, again, pulling our fender liner out. All right guys, so now we're gonna get our upper mounting nut for our shock off. We have our 18mm socket on our ratchet. Get this loose. Now sometimes you can get away with holding the body of your shock. So now since we have to hold our stud, we've got a 9mm wrench on that. We've got our 18mm ratcheting wrench on our nut. Now we're going to remove our bottom shock bolt with our 21mm socket. This has a flag nut on the back, so you don't need a wrench with it. Now we'll remove our shock. So now that we have our factory shock out, we can install our new one. We're going to start with our upper mount. So we've got our lower bushing and washer, and we're going to get it through the upper mounting point and install our upper bushing, washer, and lock nut. Now that we have that loosely in place, that's going to hold our shock, we'll get our lower mounting bolt in, and then we'll tighten everything down. All right, so you may notice that your bottom shock mount hangs a little bit lower than your actual mounting cradle. So what we're going to do, it's kind of hard to compress it by hand. So we're going to tighten up the upper nut a bit. That's going to pull this up, and then we'll line it up and get our lower bolt in. So what you'll need for that is a 6mm Allen socket and a ratchet, or 6mm Allen wrench, and a 19mm ratcheting wrench. Get our wrench on first, get our Allen socket in. Now we'll check on our lower mount. Now we have our lower mount of our shock up high enough to get our bolt through, so we're going to reinstall our factory 21mm bolt. Get it lined up. Now once you get that through the other side, you want to grab your flag nut, get that lined up with the bolt. We'll get our 21mm socket, run this in. You want to watch your fingers because when this flag nut catches, it can pinch you. Once you feel it catch, let go of that, then we'll tighten this down. Now that we have our bottom bolt tightened down, we're going to come back and finish tightening down our upper nut. Now, the general rule is you want to compress your bushings quite a bit. And once you have this side installed, you can repeat this process for the other side, then we'll come back and reinstall our fender liner. So we'll get our fender liner back in place. Now that we've got it set, we're going to get all of our 8mm screws back in place. Now we'll get our first screw in place on our fender well. That'll make it easier to line everything else up. You do want to work your way around the outer edge first. That'll kind of line everything else up as you go. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our Fox Performance Series 2.5 IFP HTO Front Shock for a 0 to 1.5 inch lift on a 14 to current 4-wheel drive Ram 2500. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.